Hi everyone, I welcome you all for today's session. I am here again with another chapter, that is Gopal and the Hilsa fish, NCERT book class 7. In this chapter, we are going to know about this Hilsa fish, and there is another important character, Gopal. This is actually a kind of comic story. Hope you all know what do you mean by a comic book. A comic book contains a story along with pictures. You must have read so many comic stories in your free time, and today we are going to know a very beautiful story, that is Gopal and the Hilsa fish. If we talk about this Hilsa fish, so this Hilsa fish comes from Bangladesh. Bangladeshi Hilsa fish is very famous. Bengalis, they are fond of this Hilsa fish. And in this story, the entire episode describes about this particular Hilsa fish. In the story, what happens? It is important to know about the characters of this chapter. So let us know the characters of this chapter. Main character is Gopal. Then minor characters. Of course, we have Hilsa fish. Then the king. Gopal's wife, and courtiers. So these are the characters involved in this story. Now story begins with the season of Hilsa fish. Everywhere Hilsa fish is the top of the day. Fishermen, they are always talking about how to catch this Hilsa fish. On the other hand, fishmongers, they are selling Hilsa fish. Householders, when they talk, the talk is Hilsa fish. Not just this much, even in the palace, the courtiers, they were also discussing about Hilsa fish. And one day what happened when someone even told the king, "Your Majesty, you know about that huge Hilsa fish which I caught." As soon as the king heard these words, he was annoyed. "Stop it! Every time Hilsa fish, what is all that? Are you a courtier or a fisherman?" So this was the comment by the king. So in a way, this thing is very much clear that the king was annoyed because everybody was just talking about Hilsa fish. And here, the king gave a challenge to one of his courtiers. He was this Gopal. The king said that even Gopal can't accept this challenge. I want him that for at least 5 minutes, nobody should talk about this Hilsa fish. As soon as Gopal heard about it, he accepted the challenge. He said, "It is possible, I can do that." The king was happy And now this was the task given to Gopal by the king. He went home and he started preparing that how he can avoid this Hilsa fish, because the king also wanted that Gopal should buy a huge Hilsa fish and nobody should ask about this Hilsa fish from Gopal. Now this Gopal, he went home, he started shaving his face, and what he did, his face was half shaven. Wife asked, "What are you doing?" "I'm just preparing to buy a huge Hilsa fish." Wife was surprised why he is behaving in this manner. What happened to him? And then what Gopal did next? He smeared ash on his face. Again, the same question was asked by his wife. "What are you doing? Why are you smearing your face with ash?" "Didn't I tell you? I am going to buy a huge Hilsa fish and I am preparing myself to buy the fish." Again, another shock for his wife. Then, the third thing done by Gopal was, he dressed strangely. He wore rags and then he started his walk to the palace. Now again, his wife stopped him. "What are you doing? How you have dressed yourself? Why you are wearing rags, half-shaven face, and then ash on your face? What are you going to do?" "How many times I have to tell you that I am going to buy a huge Hilsa fish?" Now wife thought, something happened to my husband. I think he's mad now. Gopal went to the market and the first thing he did, he bought a huge Hilsa fish. And after buying this Hilsa fish, he walked towards the palace. Now everybody who was watching Gopal in this mysterious outlook, strange fashion he was adapting, because holding a Hilsa fish, rags on his body, half-shaven face, and plus ash was on his face. People thought that he has gone mad. And when he reached the palace, he informed, "I want to meet the king." The guards were surprised. This man wants to meet a king? Is it possible? Gopal again said, "I want to meet the king." The guard said, "No, we can't allow you." This man Gopal, what he did, he started dancing and singing. And when this noise was heard by the king called the guards, everything was informed, and the king told the guards, "Okay, bring that person inside. Let me see, who is that person?" When Gopal entered the palace, all the courtiers were there and everybody was shocked. "Oh, this is Gopal. Gopal has gone mad." Somebody said, "No, this might be one of his jokes." Now everybody was just focused on Gopal. Everybody was talking about just Gopal. What happened to Gopal? Now the king said, "Okay, Gopal, what happened to you? Why are you dressed like this?" Gopal replied, "Your Majesty, you are forgetting something. I think you have forgotten." "Forgotten something? What?" Then Gopal described everything, that he accepted the challenge, and he also told, "Your Majesty, the moment I purchased the Hilsa fish from the market until I came here in the palace, nobody was bothered Hilsa fish that I am carrying in my hands. Everybody is talking about my behavior, my dress up, my face. Nobody was bothered about this Hilsa fish. Now everything was clear to the king that Gopal, with his cleverness, smartness, he won the challenge. Nobody was interested in Hilsa fish. Everybody was just bothered about Gopal, that what happened to Gopal, why he is behaving in this manner. So here the story ends. The challenge accepted by Gopal. He accepted the challenge and he also won the challenge. This is a very interesting story. And what we learn from this story, students, if we talk about this word impossible, in this story it is highlighted how the season was of Hilsa fish. Hilsa fish was the talk of the day. Everybody was just discussing about this Hilsa fish. But then Gopal, with his cleverness, with his smartness, the talk of the day was changed. He accepted that challenge. So this shows that anything is possible. You need to apply your cleverness. You need to show your smartness, and then even impossible thing can be possible. So let us see this word impossible. If you will concentrate on this impossible, so you will find I am possible. So even this word impossible highlights that I am possible. This shows that any situation you are in, whether you have some problem or a big thing to do, if you have strong determination, if you have faith in yourself, then anything is possible. And this is the theme of this chapter, Gopal and the Hilsa fish. I am sure you all are very much clear with this story now, and we will discuss the question answers of this chapter. If we talk about the very first question, why did the king want no more talk about the Hilsa fish? Very simple. I just told you, because Hilsa fish was the talk of the day. Everybody was discussing about this Hilsa fish. That is why the king wants no more talk about this Hilsa fish. Second question, what did the king ask Gopal to do to prove that he was clever? What was asked? The king wanted that Gopal should purchase a huge Hilsa fish and nobody should ask him about this Hilsa fish. What three things did Gopal do before he went to buy his Hilsa fish? I told you in the story, three things were done. Number one, face was half shaven. Then he smeared ash on his face. And third, he wore rags. Then, how did Gopal get inside the palace to see the king after he had bought the fish? What he did? Gopal, he was dancing and singing so that he could be allowed to enter the palace. Explain why no one seemed to be interested in talking about the Hilsa fish which Gopal had bought. We all know why. Because everybody was more bothered about Gopal. Nobody was interested in Hilsa fish. Everybody was just concerned about Gopal's behavior, Gopal's outlook, whatever he was wearing. His face was half shaven. So everybody was just focused on Gopal and nobody was bothered about this Hilsa fish. So friends, these are the answers to the questions of this chapter. Hope you understood the chapter. Thank you